Welcome to Catholics Today. I'm Trista Littell, and with me here today are four very special guests. We have four deacons who will be ordained into the priesthood on June 11th in the Catholic Diocese of Lafayette. We want to welcome all of you here today. We have deacons Nathan Como, Garrett McIntyre, David Abair, and Jonathan Janice. Welcome.
Thank you.
Let's start by perhaps having each of you tell us a bit about yourselves, who your family are, and where you went to school. Starting with you, Deacon Nathan.
Yes, I'm originally from Rhinella, which is well known throughout the state. And I went to school, high school at New Iberia Senior High, class of 94. Then went to the military a little bit, and then I went to St. Joseph Seminary where I got my college degree. Then I went to Notre Dame and recently graduated, thanks be to God. And my family, my parents are Pat and Jeannie Como. I have two brothers, an older brother named Shane. He's married to Amy Freeman, and their son is Sullivan. And I have a younger brother named David.
Thank you so much. Deacon McIntyre?
I'm originally from Bayou Vista, St. Bernadette Church. I graduated high school at Patterson High School and went into the seminary immediately after that to St. Joseph Seminary at St. Ben's. Were there for 4 years, and then went on to Notre Dame Seminary in New Orleans and was there 4 years, also recently graduated. My parents are Michael and Janice McIntyre. My mother passed away when I was young, Lori McIntyre. I have three brothers and three sisters, and I'm very much looking forward to ordination to the priesthood coming up next month.
Thank you so much. Deacon David?
I'm originally from Abbeville. I have three brothers and one sister. My mother's name is Jane Abair. My father is Lee Abair. He is deceased. And I started my seminary career at Notre Dame Seminary and spent my first 3 years in New Orleans at Notre Dame. And my last 3 years I attended Sacred Heart School of Theology in Hales Corner, Wisconsin.
Wonderful. Deacon Jonathan?
Well, I'm originally from Ville Platte area, Sacred Heart Parish in Ville Platte. My home is in a little community a couple of miles out called Bel Air Cove, and was pretty much born and raised there. My parents are James and Rita Janice. I'm the oldest of 5 boys. 2 of my brothers are police officers. One is in school and one is working in Florida. I went to school at Notre Dame Seminary for my theology and graduated from there last year and requested a year of service in the parish. And so for the last year I've been in Saints Bernadette and Stephen parishes in Bayou Vista and Berwick. And happy to serve the Lord in this way.
I was wondering if you all could share with the public what got you interested in the priesthood, and if any particular person may have inspired you.
Mine, I had no idea. I didn't even think about the priesthood growing up, so I can't really speak about a particular person. Mine came after a profound spiritual encounter with God, where I wasn't leading too holy a life, and He kind of stepped in and kind of awakened me, and shortly after called me to the priesthood.
Thank you.
I began to think about the priesthood when I was young, really about 12 years old, serving Mass and being involved in parish life. But began to really discern it in later high school years when I would have conversations with some of the men in my parish, and in particular my pastor at the time, Father Barry Crochet, really inspired me to begin thinking about priesthood and discerning, and that came about through much prayer and time spent with the Lord in the Blessed Sacrament in my parish. And I'm just encouraged by the people in the parish and really inspired to serve and and to discern priesthood. So that's why I went into the seminary when I was 17, right out of high school.
Thank God many encouraged you. That means so much.
It did, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Deacon David?
I think for me, it's like Garrett, it started at a very early age, probably around 10 years old. I started having what I felt would be the calling to the priesthood, and I definitely define myself as the reluctant seminarian because this is a second career for me, and I really fought the calling my whole life. It seemed it was always, surely God, you can't mean me. I'm not the one. I'm not worthy enough to serve you. But God has His way of getting your attention, and if it's right, He's going to see you through anything. And so it was just persistent throughout my life, and I found a little bit later in my career and work that the more I got involved in church, the happier I was, and the less happy I was with work and a career. And so I was very blessed that I was able to have the opportunity to enter seminary and be accepted and to hopefully will be ordained next month. And I attribute a lot of my spirituality and my faith to my mom, who throughout our lives, my brothers and sisters, we all, she made sure that we were baptized and received First Communion and confirmed, and made sure that we attended church, and just developed in us a sense of faith that has always been there, and something that I've been able to draw upon in any time in my life that I needed to. And so I really owe my vocation to her.
Thank you. Deacon Jonathan?
Well, for me, it came at an early age as well. I think my mother began to teach me my prayers to prepare me for my First Communion, and that's when I remember really starting to think about faith, and it sort of grew throughout the years. But it was when my father volunteered to teach religion classes in the afternoons that really sort of made a strong influence on me, because he was, he would go out work just like any of the fathers, and then in the afternoon he would come and teach religion. He would bring us to religion classes, and so it really gave me a positive influence and helped kind of inspire my vocation along the way. And then when I was in high school, I really started to pay attention to the priest that would come in. And at that time, we had a pastor and 2 associate pastors. And, various priests would come in every 2-3 years. We'd get another priest. And, our current bishop, Bishop Gerald, was a pastor there at one time, and he was an influence on me. Father Millard Boyer was an influence on me. Father Jay Voorhees, who became vocation director, was an influence on me. The various priests coming in, and I looked at that, I observed them and just admired that life, and looked up to really all the men that came through there. And around high school, I started to really look into wanting to try the seminary myself, so I went to retreats, began to process, and I went to St. Ben's, and then took some time off and entered theology about 6 or 7 years ago, 6 years ago maybe. And it's, I have to say that the influence has been through several people in my life, and various people that have been examples of good faith and holiness. My parents, priests, and also teachers and other people.
We never know what kind of an impact we're going to have on people and how that can play out for all eternity.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have, any of you have a special devotion to a particular saint, and perhaps maybe want to expand on that?
Well, I have like a whole round table of saints, but I think the one that was most influential in my decision to become a priest was St. John Vianney. I struggled with the decision for 3 years, giving God every excuse in the Bible. And my vocation director, I believe I'm not sure if it was Father Tom Voorhees or Father Aaron who gave it to me, but they gave me a biography about, it was Father Tom Voorhees. He gave me a biography about St. John Vianney, and it really captured my desire. And I decided, this is the kind of person I would like to be,
He was so humble,
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
and then he got raised up.
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
I would probably look to Blessed John Paul II as one who inspired me to be first a man of faith, and secondly to be a good priest. I think that he has been such a great example, especially to young people in our world today, of what it means to be a Christian and a saint. And he's so humble. And I was actually blessed enough to be able to travel to Rome about 5 years ago, the same year as his death, and to see him in an audience, to have an audience with him in Rome. And I remember just being inspired by looking at the man, John Paul II. He was, frail and could barely hold his head up. But he, to me, was a pillar of faith, and he was so strong in his faith, and such a strong example. And I'm so happy that he has now been made a blessed, and so that he gives God glory in His church, and that we can utilize his intercession all the more now. So he has really been an example in my life, one of the many.
Right. What a testament he gave in his living and in his dying, and the
Sure.
dignity of life
Sure,
at
absolutely.
every stage.
Mhm.
Thank you. David?
I think we probably all have multiple people who are major influences, and I probably for me, Saint Pio is one of my favorite people. He's almost a role model in the way he ministered. He's very humble, very compassionate, and to have people line up outside your confessional for hours to be able to make confession and be reconciled is a beautiful gift. And so he is someone I pray to and ask for his help, and he's something to aspire to.
Thank you. Deacon Jonathan?
Well, for me, it's I think St. John Vianney had a very positive influence on me in high school. As I read a little biography on him, probably the same biography
Yeah.
Deacon Nathan read,
little
because I
red.
think it was Father J. Voorhees, Father Tom's brother, who gave me a copy of the biography. And he's St. John Vianney is like, he's a saint for trying to be a good parish priest. He didn't found any great organizations or anything, any great orders, but he was an excellent parish priest. He ministered the sacraments excellently in his priesthood. But also St. Joseph, as a model for a father, is what priesthood is about, is being a father. And also St. Louis de Montfort, his zeal for our Blessed Mother and for Christ. And there are others I could name, but those are the ones that come to mind at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so many good examples out there.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Now, do you have any words of wisdom for someone who might be entering the seminary, maybe advising them on any attributes they should cultivate in order to prepare them for the priesthood?
I would have to say humility and prayer. Humility, because if you take yourself